If you've been getting ready to buy a home, you've probably been doing some research and maybe you've even been talking to friends and family. But is the research and the advice that you've been given fact or fiction? In this video, I'm going to share with you common myths about home buying so that you know if the advice your friends and family have given you is fact or fiction. Fact or fiction number 1. There is a season that is best for home buying and you should wait for it. Fiction. Yes, there are seasons in real estate. For example, historically, we tend to see a lot more homes come on the market in the spring and the summer. That doesn't mean that it's bad or wrong to buy a home in another season, like winter. If you find the house that's right for you during the winter season, you might also have a lot less competition from buyers because there'll be less of those too. And that's not a bad thing. So forget the best season theory or myth and buy when the time is right for you. Number 2, fact or fiction. You can't buy a house unless you have at least 20% saved for the down payment. Fiction. This may have been the case back in the day when your grandparents or your parents bought their home. And we still hear people declare it today as if it's still fact, but it just isn't true. There are many programs available that give buyers options to put less money down. Some like 3.5%, even 0. Number 3, fact or fiction. You can't even think about buying a house until all of your debt is paid off. Fiction. You can absolutely buy a house even if you're carrying some debt. Some people love to declare that you cannot buy a home if you have a student loan debt, for example. That's a huge one, and that is completely false. Go ahead, ask me how I know. What you do need is good credit, and carrying some debt and having a good credit score are not mutually exclusive. Lenders want to see that your finances are in good shape. If you can afford the loan for the house that you want to buy and you have a strong history of financial responsibility, that's all that matters. Number 4, fact or fiction. You have to play hardball in order to negotiate the best price. Fiction. No. You're buying a house, not a used car. It's not the same as old school negotiations back in the day, like with a car salesman on a car lot. In fact, playing hard to get, making lowball offers, and acting like you just don't care usually doesn't work with home sellers, especially in a seller's market. And in case there is any confusion, based on the current home sales data that I'm seeing, we are still in a seller's market. It is shifting towards more of a balance, but don't kid yourself. It's not a buyer's market, at least not yet. Number 5, fact or fiction. Public websites list all the homes for sale, so you don't need to work with a real estate agent to find or buy a home these days. Well, obviously, that's fiction. I know it's fun to scroll through the home listings and see what's on the market. I know a lot of people do it. I did it before I was an agent, and for some, it's sort of become a hobby. You might even think, I should just become a real estate agent. I love looking through these listings and I look at them every day. And maybe you should, but you're not yet. And even if you decided to get licensed so that you could be your own agent, I can assure you there's a lot more to it once you go through the transaction. How do I know? Because I've been there, done that. In reality, it's just not worth it just to buy one home. It can take years to get comfortable with the contracts, the laws, the process, the hands-on training, and not to mention the negotiation skills. But if you're dead set on getting your license to represent yourself, call me. I'm happy to answer any of those questions that you might have and give you some advice on getting your license. Number 6, fact or fiction. You should pay off your mortgage early if you can. Fiction. This one is definitely old school thinking. Both my grandparents did this, and in their day, it probably made sense actually. But before you decide to pay off your mortgage, I suggest that you meet with a financial planner so they can review your whole entire financial picture and not just the mortgage part. Depending on your age and how many years you have left before you plan to retire, they will probably have different suggestions for you to maximize your finances. So it's not a one-size-fits-all on that one. Number 7, fact or fiction. You're going to save a bundle of money buying the ugly home and you'll get an ugly duckling discount. Fiction. I hear buyers say this all the time. They'll say, hey, that home is so outdated. No way it's worth what they're asking. But here's the thing that most home buyers don't quite understand. There is a really big difference between a dated home, but that's still functional and in good condition, and a home that is in complete disrepair. Obviously, you're not going to pay the same amount of money for an aesthetically outdated home as one that would be completely remodeled, but you're not going to get the deep discount either that you're hoping for if the home has good, solid foundation. In other words, if you would want to spend $100,000 remodeling to your taste, a home that is currently livable and in good condition and dated, don't expect to get a $100,000 discount on buying that home. The seller's just not going to go for it. They'd spend the money on it and then put it on the market. Number 8, fact or fiction. You shouldn't buy a house when the monthly rent of a similar home is less expensive than the monthly mortgage payment on the home you're looking at. Fiction. While it's true that some housing markets in the country, paying rent is less expensive per month than buying a home, but the need for housing is not a short-term need. It's typically also our most expensive monthly expense. So don't only look at it from a short-term perspective. Ask yourself, is the cost of rent today less than it was 5 years ago? 10 years ago? 20 years ago? No. And it's not likely to be less 30 years from now either. Will you have enough money saved up for retirement to keep up with the constantly rising rents? From a financial perspective, buying a home isn't going to make you rich, but buying a home will keep you in control of your biggest monthly living expense, and that will give you peace of mind and maybe even put you in a position to eliminate that big living expense so you can live more comfortably in your retirement years. So what other things have you heard or been told about buying a home that you're now wondering, are they fact or fiction? Go ahead and ask me in the comments below and I'll get you an answer. And if you want more information about buying a home, check out one of these videos here right after you subscribe to my channel. I'm Maria Diora, the Bay Area Real Estate Mom, and I'll see you in the next video.